Hey everybody, how's it going? Good afternoon. If you've been following Bitcoin, trading Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, you know that Bitcoin just hit an all-time high and then took a huge dump after the last couple days, through the last couple days. So we're going to look into that today, and I want to give some reassurance and maybe some confidence in the market because I have confidence still in the market, and I'm going to give a lot of reasons why and why things still line up to me and why I think we're still going to go higher, even if we have a little bit deeper of a pullback. So I want to get into all that stuff. We're going to start with some news, and the first thing I wanted to share is that number one, we still have MicroStrategy ready to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Their debt offering is complete. And they're ready to buy, right? When you buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, the price doesn't go down, the price goes up. And I can't help but think that maybe the price is driven down because Michael Saylor wants it bought lower, right? Why not? So they're ready to go. The debt offering completed a day or two ago, and they're ready to put $1 billion into this. Secondly, up to 5% of public companies will follow Tesla's Bitcoin buy. So it's not certain, but it's anticipated based on Wedbush analyst that 5%, right, of all public companies, will follow Tesla's Bitcoin buy. If that happens, that's a big deal. That's a lot of money. So we're still looking at people and companies wanting to buy into this. And every time they buy in, right, that's just a little bit less supply available. So, sorry about that. A little bit less supply available. So, we're talking about over the last few times locking up the float. What happens when the supply is all owned, or a good majority of it is all owned, and it's not as highly available on an exchange. That means there's not enough to put in on sell orders on the ask, so it takes very little to buy up the ask and run the price up, and I could see that happening. We did take a large dump, but it was not even 25%, and I think that's where we stop at. And my reasoning for that, from a simplicity standpoint, is I hear everybody talking about these 30% drops. Why? Because that's what happened in the 2017 run. Right? You look here. We got high of 49.80 to a low of 29.75. That's 2,000. That's almost a 40% drop. You got a high of 78.98 to a low of 55.11. That's a $2,300 drop from 7,800 or 7,900, right? About 30%. Then you got this big boy right here, 19,697. down to a low of 13,501. About $6,000 drop, right, from 19 and a half, about 30%. And then we ran and double topped into the all-time high. So you have these 30% drops pretty consistently on the way up. Pretty normal. So if you thought this hurt the last couple days, if you didn't plan for it, then you weren't around holding in 2017. But it's pretty common, and you could see RSI. We reached right before that big dump, before the double top, we reached just almost 95 RSI, about 94, 98. That's what I'll be looking. That's one of the things I'll be looking at in this run too. I mean, we consistently had tops at about 82 on the daily. What did we have on the weekly? On the weekly. Oh, I just lost the 2017 area. But anyways, you can see where we would get to and the drops that we were getting on the way up then. So, couple big articles with, anticipation of a lot of money coming in, and you got also definite money coming in, $1 billion. That was the whole reason for the offering, to take out debt to buy Bitcoin for Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. So that's yet to go in. I have a feeling it's going to be coming soon. Now, where do I think it can go? I think that, first of all, let's look at a couple things. First of all, let's look at support and resistance. If you remember from the last video, I was saying that we're looking around a 48,000 level, right? And what happened was we came almost right in range of that. And with how much it dropped, that was pretty close. 46,700, right? And it depends on where you look. Some didn't come down past 47,600. On some exchanges, they were taking out stop losses and they dropped into the 44,000, but it wasn't real because it'd just be like leveling out at like 48,000, high 47,000, and then you'd see it flash like $2,000-$3,000 instantly, just like momentarily. And we came right in around that area, and I'd like to see back up above about 52,000, above today's high in the daily candle, maybe get to like above 54,206. So what happened is what I was expecting a little bit higher of a push on the highs of Bitcoin. Maybe like, we break through this upper uptrend line and then come back down and sell off a little bit. But we didn't really get there. And when I saw that we weren't breaking through, I actually planned really well and executed really poorly. So I was up to, between all my altcoins and Bitcoin, Ethereum, like everything, I was up to about 60% cash. And when I was in that, I had put it into Tether, and I was lending it out at a like 0.16% daily rate, just because like I didn't plan on it happening that fast, and it really did happen fast. So I was trying to get it out of there, which it's a 28-day contract, and I couldn't get it out fast enough. So when it came down, I couldn't buy. By the time I got my money in there, it was at like 51,000, 52,000, and I'm like, I still bought it, and then it came down to like 50. When it came down below 51, I sold it at a loss. So I executed really poorly. I wasn't patient, and I wasn't prepared for the opportunity. So I blew that one. But we do have still a MACD crossing over to the downside. So that's not super friendly for us. On the low end of this drop, I'm thinking it comes down to like 39,000, maybe a tiny bit lower. Maybe they duck it below that. Maybe it only comes down to 40, somewhere in that range. And I don't think it comes down there, because all these people are talking about these 30% drops. And I just hear even like the CEO of CoinGecko was in an interview today, and he said, I just set it 30% from the all-time high, and I let that order sit there. I don't think they're going to let all these people who's got that magical 30% number in there fill on the bid like that. And if they do, they're probably going to drop it down harder. So I think 25% is a substantial amount, number-wise, dollar-wise, when you're at $58,000, compared to like 35%, sometimes 40% when you're at $5,000 or $7,000. And I just don't see people being able to fill on the bid so easily. It's just not how it works. So that's my thoughts. We have a few levels of support here. This level of support at 44,888, and this is all off of Coinbase, so it's going to vary per exchange. And that was just the low of the candle today, which lined up with a few other key points on February 21st. We kind of held this support on February 9th. On February 10th, I don't think it even is February 24th yet. 21st. Okay, that's what I said. 21st. Okay, so on the 10th, we closed at that support line after dropping below it and recovering and closing there. On the 11th, we opened there, dropped down, and then came up and filled down and closed a little higher. So a few key, we bounced off of it, we closed there, and then we opened there, and then we bounced off of it today. So looking at that key level of support, I think another one that I don't have drawn out is the bottom of this last candle, the lowest candle between the 8th and today is on the 10th, and we dropped all the way down to 43,706.86. I think that's, if we drop lower, you'll look at that level just based off of Coinbase Bitcoin price, and if we break that, you might very well see us come down to that 39,000 area. Looks like, we're holding at like 47, 48 range for the better part of today. Things calm down, this volume comes down on the sell side. That'll be really nice to see. But some other nice things to see are the daily RSI is now at 53. That's great. I think it was in the 80s last time we looked on Saturday. And on the weekly, we were at 96. Or was that the crypto market cap? Anyways, we're back down to 71, which is just barely into that overbought range. So, looking a little better on the relative strength index. So another thing we have been following is the Bitcoin market cap dominance, and right now it's at 62.87%, and we've really been hanging out in the 62 area, like 62 to 60 or 60 to 63. And you see we kind of came up to the previous high on February 9th, again, that February 9th, and we kind of got rejected there. So still am looking, at this maybe little head and shoulders, and that would mean alt's not really doing anything and Bitcoin coming up, they'd have to move in opposite directions, or Bitcoin moving without the rest of the market moving. So if not, again, just a reminder, I expect it to come at least down to the 52 level, and right around there, the 52 level, back from April 1st of last year, and then on the extreme end, around the 35, which would just melt faces in the altcoin market. Just altcoins will go absolutely nuts if that happens. So, maybe a little bit more separation in price of Bitcoin compared to the rest of the market. That's what I'm watching. Like I said, if we get to the 67 area, I'll really look to load up on altcoins. So let's move on and look at a couple other things. First of all, the altcoin market, everything but Bitcoin. So this is what we had, a 96 RSI on the weekly end. So we had a good idea that altcoins were going to take a good drop. And they went from $705.872 billion market cap to a 454. So he lost about $300 billion in the altcoin market. So about a little more than 40%. So that's a good pullback. And these are big pullbacks, but they're absolutely necessary if this bull run is to continue. If we shot up on Bitcoin to like 75,000, 80,000 or more, that would have probably been the end of it. That would probably been the end of the entire run. This pullback gives me reason to believe that it continues on. And guys, this is all just my opinion. This isn't something that I'm like, I'm 100. You can't be 100% sure on everything. And right now, during this pullback, I'm trading it like I'm wrong. So I've had a couple good trades today. I bought Ethereum and sold it at 1,600. I got out last night as I was falling asleep. Woke up, Ethereum was like $200 lower. So that's a win when I prevent a loss. That's a win when I prevent holding too long into a big loss. I could put stop losses in, which sometimes I do, but I just notice a lot of these exchanges, they really do go stop loss hunting, and you'll see it on exchanges like KuCoin. They'll be sitting there and it'll be like selling off high volume, and then it'll flash down and just take out these stop losses or liquidate these margin traders. So it's definitely not trustworthy everywhere, in my opinion. So Okay, so we got the altcoin. I'm not going to talk about individual altcoins. The only ones I didn't really sell are the ones that I only have a little bit in that are like $20 million market cap or less. Then I just have money, a little bit of money in there, and I'm like, well, if I lose it all, it's no big deal. But these can go like 10, 20, 40 times if they catch on with something. And I took a lot of profits. I mean, I took profits on L Run. I still did the majority of my selling in the 180s. It went over 200, so I'm like, oh man, I'm making a mistake. And then it came all the way down into the low 100s. I think like 108 or 110 today. So I've slowly, my 60% I had in cash, slowly putting that in. I still have about 30% in cash, but I have been buying some altcoins on the way down and buying back into the stuff that I sold. I am down. My account is down, so I'm not without feeling this. It's been painful, but I wasn't all in when the crash happened a couple days ago. Crash, I should call it a correction because it's really not a crash. So, okay. So we're looking at these markets and just want to go over the RSI. On the weekly, dropped to 75 from 96. That's good. Is it done? I don't know. On the daily, we dropped all the way down to 53 as well. So same as Bitcoin. So pretty good reset there. Pretty good reset. The question is, do we go lower? I don't think so. I think that's it. I don't think they're going to let people fill at a 30% drop with everybody sitting there waiting to load up. I think they're going to make people chase the price up. That's just kind of how it goes. The whales run the show, and they like to make the money. They don't like to let you make the money. So let's move on. Some more things. So why did the dump happen? Well, this is a big topic, right? It's a big topic. And F2 pool, one of the largest mining pools in the world, which is based out of China, only behind Poolin, which I've never heard of. A lot of these guys in the YouTube community have been like pissed at them, but here's my thought process, right? So let's look at the output. So it's not showing today's because I don't have a premium account. I don't really care to pay for this. I know what's going on. So the most recent data is from the 22nd, but you could see this volume on the 21st and 22nd, and today it was huge, I believe. Like they just had so much outflow of their mined Bitcoin. And, I hear some people that are like, oh, that's bull. Like I want a fair market. It's like, that's fair. They could mine, and if they're mining Bitcoin, they could do whatever, they could do whatever they want with it. That's just how the game works. You're all sitting down at the poker table. Everybody's playing their hand the way they want to play it. And that's just how it goes. Some people cheat. It's true. There's not any cheating going on here. It's like, okay, great. They dropped 6,631 Bitcoin on the 21st. You look at the drop back here, they were 14,000. Am I reading that right? I might not be reading that right, but you could see just based off of the volume, they are one of the largest, second largest in the world. And here's why that's okay, right? Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy, looking to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. There needs to be $1 billion worth of Bitcoin on these exchanges. So where does that outflow go to? It goes to those exchanges. The exchanges are buying this Bitcoin from these mining companies so they could have the liquidity to sell companies like MicroStrategy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. But what does that do to the price? It makes it drop because they're selling to these exchanges on the bid. So that's a big reason. Probably not the only one. Probably a lot of retail, hit their stop losses and cut out. People probably took some profits. We had a major run, major rise. We hit 58,000. We went over a $1 trillion market cap. So, nothing wrong with any of this. Is it scary? Yeah, it sucks. It's a gut check. It does not feel good. But it's going to happen in these bull runs, and it's probably going to be more volatile if we continue to go up. So be ready for it and have a plan. Don't just do what anybody says. Don't just follow blindly somebody else's plan like mine, but have a plan and be ready. So next, another reason I think that Bitcoin continues to go up. Look at all these new wallet addresses being created. right? It has just gone up and up and up and up. You could see when when Bitcoin crashed in 2000 and beginning of 2018, it came down, and look at this. So we may be double topping here, but it's just new wallet addresses being opened all the time. Constantly, steadily uptrend. I like that number. And lastly, this is something that I haven't brought up before, but I saw it on a YouTube channel, Martini guy, who goes over it, and it makes sense. It's just like, it's a consistent pattern, right? You have the Bitcoin halving, right, which is this purple color, right, is the days until. So the closer it gets to purple, the closer you are to the halving of Bitcoin. And once the halving happens, boom, right? And then it fades off, right? So we get to this, like, we get into the red, orange, we get to the green. Once we get to about the 800-day mark, it seems like, maybe even longer out than that, maybe like the 900-day, like right here, 900-day here, and then you got about 900, 800, yeah, maybe like 700 days here. So we're in the orange. We're about 1,200 days out. I don't know the exact day of the next halving, but this could last the rest of the year, you know. And you see, these little drops. They're major drops. $230 to $60. 1,134 to 200. Dang. That was the all-time high, 19,600-ish, to our recent low back in 2019, 3,500, or was this 30? Yeah, back then. So yeah, these little drops are actually major changes. So it's this is the stock to flow model. It's on lookintobitcoin.com, and yeah, you can see how the price regularly follows this trend, this pattern, and you know, it's been following it again. You know, here's our little run up. We're about right there on this. So we're from here to here. So last time we went from 471 to, let's give a benefit of the doubt, to, let's just say 1,000, right? So what, 2.5 times? It went about 150%, about 150%. So right now, 5,000 to 53,000, 10 times. In the same, well, it's probably a little further. It's probably more like here. So anyways, you get the point. You know, we have a halving, and then, you know, we start to buy 1,400 days away from the halving, and we run up till about that, anywhere between, I'd say, like 700 and probably 950 days out. So watch for us to get in this green range, because it looks like we get in this green and then this almost teal. I'm not good with colors. We get to this teal, like right here, we were definitely in the 900 range. Right here, we were definitely more in the 700 days out range. Right here, we got a little closer, probably in the 500. So 5, 7, 9. I mean, we may, who knows, maybe at the 1,100 area. But, you know, just have a plan and constantly watch what's going on. So that's what I wanted to share today. I just wanted to share some support areas on the charts. I wanted to share some news. I want to share some models and some charts on why I think that we keep going, why I think it's not over, and why this pullback, in my eyes, is a healthy thing. I mean, we could, you know, see a major spike anytime soon. It could be a few months. We may never see it, but I think the parabola ends when you see the largest spike happen, and I think it happens quick. So anyways, pay attention to that, and be smart and have a plan, and don't just follow somebody else's advice blindly. Have your own plan based on, you know, your risk level, your tolerance, what your goals are, how you want to trade things, short term, long term, things like that. And Yeah, one more thing I wanted to share, and I noticed this after I finished recording the video that I forgot to mention, but I wanted to make sure I got in there. So another piece of big news is that Tether and Bitfinex reached settlement with New York Attorney General's office. So looks like the whole Tether fiasco is over, at least for now. And that's just what it looks like. Maybe something else comes up, maybe not. But Tether and Bitfinex are pleased to have reached a settlement of legal proceedings with the New York Attorney General's office. Under the terms of the settlement, we admit no wrongdoing. The settlement amount we have agreed to pay to the Attorney General's office should be viewed as a measure of our desire to put this matter behind us and focus on our business. So, Tether obviously words it one way, and other places, word it another way. There was one article. Yeah, some articles view it as oh yeah, they admit to it, so they settle. I don't know, but it depends on what news source. It's just like the difference between watching CNN and watching Fox. They're gonna view things one way on one station. They're gonna view things with the same news a different way on the other station. So keep that in mind, but it does look, at least for the time being, that this whole Tether fiasco is behind us. I've been trying to watch that as closely as possible. It's been kind of hard to find, but yeah, just wanted to make sure that I shared that. And yeah, so keep all that into consideration, and other than that, have a great day.